Okay, so we're live on Facebook now. Welcome everybody to the Native Wellness Power Hour today. My name is Chelsey Luger, and I am going to be sort of hosting and leading the discussion. And we're going to talk all about parenting of babies and toddlers and young kids. I'm joined by my friends Karennenhawi and Kahara, and I will let them introduce themselves in a minute. But yes, welcome to Native Wellness Power Hour. We always kind of like to start slow and allow time for people to log on. Um, and we want to thank our sponsor of the Power Hour today, who is the Indian Health Institute of the Seattle Indian Health Board. So thanks to them, we have funding for our Power Hours this week, and they have been supporters of the Native Wellness Power Hours all along. We are now going on over a year where we've been offering these trainings every day on Facebook Live. And it has been quite a journey through the pandemic with all of you. So thank you to everybody for joining us today. And as I mentioned, yes, I'm joined here by my friends, and we are all parents of babies right now. So I guess I still, even though I have a 3-year-old and an infant, I still feel like a new parent. So I feel kind of I feel like I know a lot about parenting at this point, but I'm also very new. And so it's just kind of, so, we're definitely not claiming that we have all the answers or that we're like the total experts, but I think we definitely have a lot to say. Am I right? We at least have a lot of questions that we can dialogue about. So yeah, a little bit more about myself. I am Anishinaabe and Lakota. I'm originally from the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa and from the Standing Rock and Cheyenne River Sioux tribes, but I live in Phoenix, Arizona area with my husband Thosh and as I mentioned, my 2 daughters. So I will allow Howie, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Chelsey. Where's Wagwegu? Karennenhawi Wagenu. My name is Karennenhawi Goodleaf, and I'm from Kahara. I'm Ganyak Gahaga of the Hadanusuni, and I am a Ganyak Gaha language teacher. But I'm currently home with my 8-month-old baby girl. So right now we're just home together, and yeah, it's been really exciting these past few months, and yeah, I'm happy to be here and to talk with you girls about being parents. I'll pass it to Kahara.
Thank you, ladies, for having me. Thank you, NWI. Yat shike doshidane she Kahara Hodges in the shit, Tanisan in the shlin, do Bilagana Bashin, na Kaite Shiche, do Nahisi Dashanale, she Lokan Tiel, de Nashak a de Hosdo Bilshagan, Shema a Petrares Willia, do Shemasane a Bernice Curly Willia. My name is Kahara. I am representing the Navajo Nation and also the Mexican clan, as well as African American and English. And my mom is Petra Reyes, my grandma is Bernice Curley, and my family is originally from Ganado, Arizona. But currently I'm a Diné girl born and raised in Otham lands. So we're here in Tempe in the Valley, and I am the mother of a soon to be 12-month-old. His birthday is in a few days. And just this whole journey in motherhood has been super special and sacred, and it's been a journey for sure. And happy Earth, Mother Earth Day. Thank you, Mother Earth, for all of the beautiful things that you provide to us. But yeah, I'm really grateful to be sharing dialogue with these beautiful mamas, and I'm excited to get started on that. So thank you for tuning in, and I'm really looking forward to talking about our experiences and just the things that we can take from our own stories and implementing that, whatever works with our little ones, because they're just their own little individuals. So I'm really grateful to be asked to even share about my experience with my little son and just motherhood in general. So ahiha and blessings. Go back to Chelsey.
All right. So one of the things that Kahara just mentioned that really that is something I've thought about so much with parenting is the degree to which our children really are individuals and how quickly we realize that. And I think that it starts with the births. Well, it starts in the womb, of course. Like I know my two kids were really, really different in the womb. Like my baby Aloe, I just recently looked back on videos of my belly when she was in there, and it was crazy. Like, oh, the kicking and I mean, you could just see so much activity in my belly. And then, like, it looked like she was trying to escape. And my baby Weston, like, she hardly made a peep in there. Like, I could feel her kicking, of course, but you couldn't really like see it outside of my belly. So it started there, me realizing how unique they are. And then their birth stories were completely different. I had a C-section, an emergency C-section with Aloe, and she was 2 weeks past due. Whereas Weston arrived like the date of her due date, basically. And the birth was, I guess I would describe it as easier. But yeah, so many differences in their individuality. And I'm just wondering, like, I'll start with you, Kahara, and then we'll ask Howie, like, if there's something that has really surprised you about your baby's personality or like the experience of motherhood in general.
Oh my gosh. I think it's definitely like a transition into motherhood. Like when I had baby in my belly, like we had that connection, but when when his spirit like fully came earthside and he, was born, it was just like almost in disbelief at like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I like brought this little sacred being into this world. Oh my goodness. And I could really tell, over the last few months, especially now that he's about to be 1, I want to say since he was about 6 months, he's really like his own personality has really started to shine. And there's definitely moments where I could see how he fits into our family with just the goofiness, like his mom and dad, and just his little energy. He's a ball of energy. He's just trying to, as soon as he wakes up, he flips around and he's like, where am I going next? Like, what should I go look at? And so I think it's just also even figuring out a way of communicating with your little one. It's really like nothing you can plan. You just have to be very present. I think that's like the one thing I'm really grateful for, is just I'm able to be super present with my baby, and that is what allows me to learn about his little personality and how he expresses himself and all of that. It's really cute. I love learning new parts about him every single day. Like, it's just really special.
That's such good advice. And it's so true. Like, I think that all of us, like, we try to be as prepared as possible, right? Because that's the responsible thing to do. But at the same time, like, every kid is so different. Every motherhood experience is so different. Like, there's only so much you can prepare for. So I love your advice of just being present. I think that is so true. And being open-minded, I think, is like really important. Like, just being loving and accepting of like whatever it is that our kids like are bringing at us with their personalities and with their behaviors and stuff like that, and trying to
Yes.
see, like, the purpose and the positivity for everything, even the challenging aspects.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Howie, I would love to also hear from you, like, any like surprises about your baby's personality, or just like about the experience of motherhood, and any thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's funny that you guys were talking about that, because that's what I was going to bring up about her. It's like how she really, when my daughter was born, she really like pulled me back down to being in the present moment. Like this past year, with the whole pandemic and everything, it really like caused us to slow down a little bit more. And with her being born in this time, And all these babies that were born in this time, I felt it was like very like brave of the babies to be born in a time like this. So I feel they're very special. And when she was born, I noticed she really made me feel like I was really living in the present moment now, because I could be doing something like doing the dishes or laundry or cleaning up, and then all of a sudden she's hungry and she makes you stop in that moment and like really pull you back down to like, okay, we're here right now together. And like I could just stare at her and she's pulling at your shirt, and that's like a true gift that she gave me at such a young age, to really be in the present moment. And to be in the present moment, to me, is like really peaceful. You're not worried about yesterday or tomorrow, and it's just like right now. But she has a really, really calm personality compared to my siblings. They were wild. They were all over the place, and the boys were always like running up and down the halls. And she's just very, very calm and very happy. And I'm so happy to have her. It's like I can't even imagine a life without her now. I don't know how I went so long without her, but yep, she's really amazing.
I hear you. I have the same feeling. I'm like, what did I do before these little stinkers came along? But yes, I love that. I know I was just thinking about that the other day too, or I've been thinking about it a lot more lately, because like sometimes if I'm like I sleep with Weston, with the little one. We have our own bed, and then Thosh and Aloe sleep in a separate bed, just because Aloe gets like really distracted, or she cries and she gets really upset like if Weston is upset or disturbing her in the night. So we found early on it was best for us to keep them separate. So anyway, but sometimes I will be like scrolling my phone or whatever when I'm nursing Weston, and then I'll just stop and I'll just look at her and I'll be like, oh my God, like there's nothing out in this world that I need to see that's like more interesting or more beautiful, or like I just want to be present with her. And I have to remind myself sometimes that it's such a short phase, and I just need to like embrace it and enjoy it even when it gets stressful and stuff. So yeah, being present is so important. And then I guess another there's so much to talk about with parenting, and I have so many questions for both of you as well. But I guess like I think we should address maybe the community out there of those maybe who don't have kids yet, or who are younger and are thinking about maybe like being a mom one day. Because I know there's probably a lot of also very experienced moms out there who have like stories of their own. But I guess I would just like to hear any advice from like, you already talked about being present, but do you have any advice as far as like, I know one of the things I experienced before giving birth was like I had a lot of fear. And then you'd almost think that the fear would go away with like the second one, but my first delivery was kind of traumatic. And so I think I still had the same amount of fear, like going into like my second labor and delivery. But one of the things that ended up, I think what I've observed is that like with every like baby and parenting like relationship, there are things that go really smoothly, and there are things that are like more of a challenge. Like it's kind of balanced. Like everybody can tell you like, oh, this part was really easy, this part was really hard for me, and it's going to be like different for everyone. Like for me with Aloe, my labor and delivery was really challenging, but my pregnancy was like pretty active and healthy, and like I was able to breastfeed really easily. So I'm just wondering like any advice or like any stories that relate to that concept of just like, yeah, certain things are going to be hard, certain things, not so, certain things are going to be really beautiful and really easy. And how we like, if you could share also, like, I know you had a little incident with like your baby had a tongue tie, and that was kind of presented a challenge like for breastfeeding. Like if you could share that story, or just yeah, anything else that comes to mind about that?
Yes, we did have a little bit of a hard like learning experience with breastfeeding. Um, when I had brought my daughter home from the hospital, luckily I was having trouble with breastfeeding. It was hurting a lot, and but luckily a few days, maybe a day or two after being home from the hospital, I had a home visit from a nurse from our community. So she came into my home. She had a big gown on and her mask and everything because it is COVID. And so she came in and she observed how I was breastfeeding, which I'm really grateful for, that she was able to be there in such like a short amount of time, because I honestly thought it was my fault and I was doing something wrong. And I never breastfed before, and I never thought to myself that I would have trouble. I thought it was just like this. I thought it would come naturally and it would be easy. But what the nurse had observed was that my daughter had a little bit of a tongue tie. So that's why she wasn't latching on properly. So, and that's why I was in so much pain when I would breastfeed. So the nurse was so amazing. She actually called the hospital that I had gave birth at, and she made an appointment that day for my daughter to go to the hospital and have her tongue tie fixed. It was so sad. They had to like cut it a little, but the doctor said she shouldn't feel any pain, and they nursed right after, so she healed from it like quite easily. It was like a 2-second procedure. But during that time, I didn't have a breast pump right away. I had ordered one in the mail and it didn't get there right away. So I had messaged some of my friends to I guess to go pick up a pump, and it was like within the hour they had left like a bag of a pump and the bottles and everything on my porch, and I was so grateful for that. It was the, what is it called, the Mandela pump, that one, and the Haka one. So I was so grateful that they were able to do that on such a short amount of time, because they also have families too. So, but yeah, it was such a crazy experience, because I didn't think I was going to be faced with something like that. But I was just so glad that afterwards, after the procedure, that she was able to like latch on and start gaining weight, because during that time she had also started to lose a little bit of weight, but which was scary. But the nurse would come like every other day to monitor her weight gain and everything. So I was so grateful that our community hospital had that in place, where the nurse can come to your home, and I didn't have to bring her out and expose her to different environments. So it was really a learning experience, and I'm so glad that I was able to continue breastfeeding. And yeah, that was my experience.
Yeah, that's a great story, Howie. Thank you for sharing that. I know one of my issues when I was starting breastfeeding Aloe, and as I mentioned, she was delivered via C-section. It was an emergency C-section. And like when I woke up from it, I was very, very sick from the pain medication. Like I was vomiting and I was just like extremely nauseous. And I was also very just like out of it. And so I know for her first like 24 hours, she was fed formula. And then I remember like the next day in the hospital being like, oh man, like I wish I could breastfeed her. And she was like sitting across from me in an incubator. It was so sad. Um, and one of the nurses was there and she was like, you can. I was like, I can. And she was like, yeah. And she was like, she brought her to me, and yeah, I got to feed her. And I don't know, it was just one of those things, like it just made me realize, like if you're in a situation and you don't, like you, even if you feel helpless or something, like Howie said, she just asked her friends and they brought her and helped, and like just ask for help, and like you'll be surprised. There's this huge, like people are willing to help and people are willing to like guide you. You just have to say it out loud, I guess. But yeah, Kahara, do you have any stories about like unexpected challenges or anything like that?
Yeah, I actually had kind of a similar experience as far as breastfeeding. It was something that, I was just like, yeah, I'll know how to do it. I actually didn't even prep for it at all. I think I just like ordered my pump off of Amazon, and like even that pump, it's my backup pump now, because I'm just like, oh my gosh, I really thought that I was gonna be all set with this little cute electric $20 pump. But my son was born with a tongue tie and a lip tie, like a super severe one, to where like his little baby tongue, it was literally almost fully attached to his to like the bottom of his mouth. And my midwife, she discovered it like literally the day that he was born. And Marina, she's the one who helped me. I had a home birth, and my family was able to assist my birth, which was really, really, really beautiful experience to have and share with each other. But when my son was born, like I said, Marina had identified that he had a really bad tongue and lip tie. And when it came to like breastfeeding him, I kind of just looked at my mom, because she was right next to me, and I was just kind of like, Mom, what do I do? Just like, help me. And brought son to my boob, and Marina kind of helped me with finding a good position to help him. But she said that she recommended having going to go and get a surgery treatment for my sonny boy, just because with how severe his tongue and lip tie was, it was going to be really painful for us both. And my nipples, they had already blistered so bad and were bleeding like the first day of breastfeeding him. And so that was extremely painful for me. I was like, oh my gosh. And so we actually made an appointment for the next day. My son was just barely like a few days old when we went to this breastfeeding clinic, and we saw a doctor, and she did a laser treatment on my son. And it was one of those things where they're like, it takes just a few seconds, and we're gonna take him for a little bit. It'll take a few seconds. We'll come back, and you guys will be all good. And we just had to do therapy to make sure that it didn't heal back up for about a month and a half. We did these little exercises, making sure he's moving his tongue around, moving his little lips around, and later that week, and that was really sad, just to have to have your baby experience, a traumatic event, like even just a tiny little surgery. It was really, really tough, but I knew it was for the best. So I just was like, okay, well, son, we're gonna do this together. And later that week, we actually were connected with an Indigenous breastfeeding consultant. Her name is Kimberly Salas. She's really, really, really amazing. She came to my home all geared up, and she just worked. She's like, all right, we were in the bedroom, it was feeding time, and she watched me feed son. And then she just kind of helped me adjust in certain ways and taught me different breastfeeding positions. And the position of laying down on your side and feeding was like the game changer for me. I was like, oh my gosh, yes. Because I just wanted to be super comfortable. And, after you give birth, for me, it took me months until I really felt like I was able to move kind of like I could before. But, it takes years for our bodies to heal postpartum after giving birth. So it was definitely like a journey. And then once Kimberly helped me with Sunny Boy, it was like Sunny Boy was very cooperative. So he just wanted to get a good latch. And ever since, our breastfeeding journey has been something that has been super special, and we have this bond. And I'm really grateful that I'm able to provide nourishment for him. And I think just being more mindful about what I'm eating, what I'm putting in my body, knowing that it's going to, be transferred into nutritional energy for my son to grow. And he's healthy and happy. So it just, it's really beautiful to be able to provide that extra nourishment for my boy. And I think just, if anything, one, like having a community, community is what's going to be the most important thing, especially being a new parent. I'm so grateful that my family, we took the precautions to be safe, and to, we quarantined with each other so that we were all able to, have help and just enjoy the very beginning moments with my little one. And so even before my son was born, we have lots of amazing community members providing knowledge. Like, I didn't know much about home birth until I had met certain friends, and they are super advocates for home birth, and their whole family, like, they all attend each other's births. And it was just really empowering and inspiring to witness, and hear their stories. And that was just, things that I had heard for a few years before we got pregnant and decided to start our family. And it's just, I think that knowing of having, that you're always supported by your community members, whether they're your family or, just for Marina, my midwife, to contact Kimberly and ask for help and guidance. And when Kimberly came, she just helped us out of the goodness of her heart. And she just she's like, no, well, I just want to provide help to other Indigenous families and help this knowledge. And it was just really like, to experience and witness that goodness of others is really, I'm really grateful for that. And even like, they're connected with the Changing Woman Initiative. And so that's just like a whole example of another community that helps with birth, and, the different classes that they learn. I never took a birthing class, which was something that I was always stressed about, because I was like, oh no, I need to take my birthing class. And I never, I didn't quite get to it, because then all of a sudden lockdowns are happening, and all of this stuff that kind of that came into the way. But ultimately, I was able to have that support from those around me. So I think just also accepting help was something that it took me a while, because I wanted to get things done, myself, and to be taken care of, and to continue to be taken care of, because my in-laws are visiting us right now. And so just to have even, some extra pair of hands around the house, it's just like such a huge gift. And for a while I was like, no, she shouldn't be doing this, I should be doing this. But one of the things my mom told me was just like, no, like, accept the help, because like, we want to help you guys. We want to make, we want to be supportive in a way of like, let us just do those little things. So I think, if anything, accept help when you need it is like some of the best advice that I've been able to utilize every single day. But yeah, it's just a little bit about what I have to share.
I've had a hard time with that one too. Like, even when relatives are around and stuff, like, yeah, you feel kind of bad, like almost like letting other people do stuff for you. But then it's like, I think with my second one now, I've fully come to accept the help. I'm like, child. But, one of the things Kahara mentioned was like the Changing Women Initiative, and just like her whole, which is an organization, they're based in Navajo Nation, I believe, right? Where they are revitalizing and reclaiming like Indigenous birthing teachings, and prenatal and postpartum care and all that stuff. And so they've got like an awesome staff and team of women that's doing that work there. And I know in a lot of places, Native women everywhere, we're all like working on this like reclamation and revitalization of like our ancestral knowledge when it comes to birth, and when it comes to raising children, because there's this whole worldview that it had sort of been pushed to the wayside for a while, but it's like, it's really being reclaimed and revitalized now. Hawi, I was just wondering if you could share, maybe especially if there's other like Haudenosaunee people watching, and are looking for like I guess even how to begin the process of like learning about these teachings if it's not something that's been passed down in their families. Like, I mean, or even Kahara, if you could also share any more, like if there's any books you read or if there's any resources that you found that were helpful for you, or like where can people go to even like start to learn about this stuff?
Sure. In my experience, well, throughout my pregnancy, I was following, they were called Atnoara Owira doulas, and they had a lot of different Zooms and workshops online for different traditional teachings on pregnancy and different groups we were able to join. They had a lot of different movement exercises like yoga. And so for the beginning part of my pregnancy, I did a lot of that, because that was kind of when like pandemic had just started, so everything was going online. So it was a lot harder, I found, to find like resources or to do something, because everything was like closed. So it was a lot. It was like a big challenge. And being pregnant during that time, it was like kind of it was a lot harder, I found, because you couldn't do the normal things you'd be able to do during we also have another doula group in my community where they're very in touch with our traditional ways. And I'm not sure what they are called, but I know they've been a big help to our community with assisting pregnant women during their birth and throughout their pregnancy. And also in our community, we also were really lucky. We have a language nest, which is really awesome. It's where you can go with your baby, and you can go and learn our traditional language here. So with language comes language and culture are both like tied together. So you're learning with your baby, because maybe you might not be as experienced as an experienced like speaker, but they're like very understanding, and you can start off at a lower level, and then you work your way up to some harder words and verbs, and these are learning together. So it's like you're creating like a bond, but they do a lot of different things, like they go out tapping trees and like learning about like maple or anything that has to do with like our ceremonies and whatnot. But I'm pretty sure they moved to online learning right now too, but it's still a good thing to incorporate with your day, because even though you're not in person, you're still learning those different words and whatnot. So it's really an amazing program. And actually where I had worked before, there's a language nest there too. So it's just really awesome to be able to learn with your child a lot of different things. But for me, I was raised in like our culture and traditions. So I had a lot of experience with our ceremonies and our language and other things. So I've been really trying my hardest to kind of just speak our language to my daughter. So it's been pretty hard, but I've been trying my very best to only speak Kanyagaha to her, and I'm slowly like starting to see her like understanding, which is so exciting. She knows like if I say Hagats, that means like come here. She'll like reach her arms out like she's ready to. So I'm like, oh my God, it's working. And it's like it's so amazing because just to, I don't know, see her pick up and understand things more and more every day. It's like so rewarding. And um I've been doing little things like it's like our foraging season right now. So I've been taking her into the woods and showing her different medicines and different foods. And it's just so fun because normally this would be something that I'd be doing by myself, but it's so nice to have her with me and show her. And it's also really exciting to be able to like show her from such a young age these natural and like medicinal foods that can give her strength and just like things she'll know from like such a young age. I don't know, it's just so exciting. But there's a lot that we can learn
Yeah.
with each other.
That's awesome. I love that, Howie. And I think Howie and Kahara would both agree with me in like just being patient with yourself also. Like if you are having, you know, like if you're just like not sure of the way to go about things or don't have all the answers in front of you with parenting, like it's a journey, and just like don't judge yourself, don't shame yourself, and don't shame others either. Just do your best. And mama's instinct is like really, really strong. And I have my little one just had like a poop, so I have to go change her. But before I do that, I'm gonna ask, I'll be right back. But Kahara, I would love for you to share, because I know baby James has started eating, and you said you've been having a lot of fun with like preparing foods for him and like feeding him different things. So I would love to know like any ways that you're like, I don't know, just any tips or like what he's been loving, or like how you cook for him, and how you incorporate indigenous foods or other things as well. If you could share any of that knowledge, that would be awesome. I'll be right back.
Ooh, yay! Poopy diaper time. um, yeah, it's been a fun little adventure. I personally love to eat and I love to cook, so it's been really fun just incorporating that with nourishing my family. And so with baby James, I wanted to just breastfeed him for, we're going to be breastfeeding for as long as he is wanting to. And I was just trying to only give him milk for, I was hoping like at least a year. But at 6 months old, he had just been for about a month, since he was about 5 months old, he had been staring at all our food and just kind of looking at us like, can I have some, please? And I was like, no, you could have some taco milk, or like the milk version of whatever I ate. But finally at like 6 months old, we just couldn't. It felt kind of wrong almost not feeding him food because he wanted it so bad. And so we were like, okay, well, what should we give him first as his first foods? And we actually gave him, a little piece of squash. I had cooked up some squash. So it was really squishy, and he wasn't quite a fan of squash. And then we tried banana, and he just was like, oh my gosh, this is one of the best things I ever had. So he was a little banana boy for a while. And then eventually we started with berries, and we tried salmon. My partner's from Alaska. And so we're really, we're blessed to have a lot of, just kind of to have an understanding of traditions about, where our food comes from, as far as like berries and fish, and to be sent berries and fish from his family. And that's what we've been eating here in the valley. So it's just, he started eating salmon, and it was like the next day his tooth started popping out. So it's just, he's been very excited to eat. And so it's been really fun just researching. I like to follow certain little Instagram pages too on little recipes, or even utilizing Pinterest as something. Now that he has Sonny Boy now, he'll have like 3 meals a day. So every time we eat, we sit down and he eats with us. So whether it be, sliced up berries, I slice up blueberries in half, do little chunks of strawberries. I sprinkle coconut on it. Every now and then I'll do chia seeds. And that was like a trick I had learned actually from Pinterest, and like utilizing those chia seeds and coconut shreds, or like nutritional yeast, even if you want more of like a cheesy type flavor. It sprinkling that onto fruits and veggies is like a great way of like adding some flavor, and also it's super nutritional because chia seeds, they have protein, antioxidants, so I just really want to be mindful about giving him snacks. But also, like, little Sonny Boy, he loves fig granola bar, like little fig nutrition bars. And he likes pureed foods, but he's got a really strong little jaw, and so he's just wants to use his hands and eat everything. He's started using, I've given him little utensils, and he just throws it throws it away. And also, I think one of the things too is, like, every time you feed your baby, it's going to be messy. Like, it's going to be super messy, but they learn so much from creating that mess. And so, luckily, either mom or dad or whoever is not feeding baby, we're able to do a little cleanup afterwards. But I think just being super mindful about what Sonny's eating, but also, like, we enjoy the good little treats here and there too. And I think that just making sure that Son has like a balanced understanding of like a good balanced diet from the get-go, like we're setting him up really good to have a good relationship with food. And I didn't even try quinoa until maybe, like, I didn't try quinoa until I had met Martin. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, this is so good. And I really started learning more about like the nutritional part about what we eat, and really kind of investing in like, being also recognizing all of the hands that, that it took for this food to get onto our plate, onto the table right in front of us. And, burning medicine before meals is just part of like little daily things that we do to express gratitude and to recognize where our food is coming from. And I just feel like, as far as from my own experience with that, reclaiming my relationship with food has been a really beautiful journey. And I could see how it's positively affecting not just me, but my whole family. Because as like the chef, even just cooking everything, I cook everything with love. So that itself, having that positive intention, is just really special for, I guess, the legacy of our family and what we're wanting to do as far as making sure our son is conscious of these things as well. But yes, I love being a little mommy chef. And sometimes I'll work on creating the most beautiful plate of food, and then he tries some and he's like, I want strawberries. I'm like, but I just made you bisque with a grilled cheese. No, I'm just kidding. But it's definitely really fun. I've really enjoyed it, and he's a little eater, so I know that, it just really depends on the individual baby. And so I was hoping to breastfeed him only for a while. He just decided he wanted to eat foods, and now we all eat together. And yeah, we eat really good, and we're happy. So that's really nice. I'm
Nice.
grateful for that. Thanks for letting me share.
Amazing. I love that. So cute. And I'm excited to go through that process for the first time with Weston, because you guys know my firstborn, she had a feeding disorder. And so she was actually exclusively breastfed for like 2 years because she just couldn't learn how to chew and swallow foods. And so we had a big journey going through feeding therapy, and she's 3 now and she's doing really good, learning to eat. But the whole baby food experience is something that we haven't been through yet. And with little Weston, I can tell that she's already like ready, because she chews a lot, and she she expresses like interest in food already in a way that Aloe didn't. So that's going to be fun. And I know that one of the things Thosh and I did, because we're an intertribal family, like we're both from different nations, and we created kind of our own, like we sort of combined like traditions from our different tribes where we come from, and we created like a really special first food ceremony for Aloe, where we fed her squash that she had helped plant when she was like a newborn. And so I mean, of course she didn't fully eat it, but it was the first like table food that went into her mouth. And so we're going to do the same thing with Weston. We're going to have a little ceremony for her, and just make it a really special event, because our foods are our medicine, right? And then Howie, like, I was wondering, you sent me like a picture yesterday of this snack you made. And I think it's so important for us to really feed and nourish ourselves too, as moms. And, like not be afraid to eat and eat good. Cause you're expending so much energy, especially in the infant stage, like just taking care of the baby and breastfeeding and all that. So Howie, like, I know you also did some stuff where you were like making soups for yourself and freezing them like before you gave birth so that you would be ready. But yeah, any other tips for like mom nutrition that you could give us?
Yeah. I wanted to add, my daughter ate squash too for her first food. So all three of our babies ate squash. It's really nice. We started a few weeks ago. We started our little seedlings for our garden. So I can't wait to be able to feed her stuff from there too, and myself, because before the first few weeks before my due date, I had done a lot of cooking. So because I know, from what I was hearing from different people, it's like such a transition, and it's a little bit of an exhausting period for you once you like during the postpartum period. So I had made a lot of different soups and sauces and a lot of different little meals, and froze them in like little mason jars. So they were like individual meals in my freezer. So I was able to just defrost one, because you're super busy. You always have one baby in your hand when they're so small. They always want to eat, and you always have to change them. So it was probably the best idea I had. But also prepping little smoothies, pre-prepping your like smoothie bags, putting the fruits and vegetables and everything, and then you just dump them in the blender and it's ready to go, because it's so important to keep up with your health during that postpartum period, and continuing to take like your prenatal teas or prenatal vitamins, because during that time I actually didn't really I was taking some teas, but not as much as I was when I was pregnant. I was taking my teas like on the dot, on the day, twice a day. But during the postpartum period, I kind of like slacked off with the teas and the vitamins. But I really highly recommend you continue with it, because I had lost a lot of my hair because I didn't continue taking like some of my teas, because there's a lot of vitamins and minerals in there that can prevent you from I guess like weight loss or loss of your hair or anything. But having like pre-prepped meals and everything was like such a lifesaver. And not only that, I had a lot of family members or friends drop food off. Like they'd leave it on my porch. I had like a little table set up. So it was so nice to like wake up in the morning and you'd see like a nice like plate of food or like a coffee, and it was really nice. I had a lot of people like looking out for me, and my neighbors too. They were the ones that actually gifted me the squash for my daughter. They had grown it in their garden. So yeah, it was just it's a very busy part, that postpartum period. So that really helped me a lot. And I really recommend that you do that because it's important to take care of your new baby, but it's also very important to take care of yourself in order to be there for your little one.
Yeah, so true. And you're going to become an expert so fast on how to do everything with one hand, right? Like, I think like the learning curve of like becoming a parent is like the craziest thing. Like you just, I don't know, you just can't describe it until you experience it. But we only have a few minutes left, and I really wanted to end this just like on a really positive note, because you know, it's all about balance. And like on one hand, it's really important for us to acknowledge and to express all of the challenges, and just to know, like for any other parents or moms out there, you're not alone if you're experiencing a really hard time. I know that with both my kids, I've gone through ups and downs in terms of like feeling like so confident and okay, I got this under control. And then the next day I wake up and I'm just a disaster. So I just want to express that like it's totally normal to have that that variety of experiences, and just keep your head up and don't feel like you're alone in that. But also like it's good for us too to acknowledge the happy parts about it and the good parts about parenting and motherhood, because it really is sacred. It really is um uh you know, an honor and a privilege to be able to raise a little one. And so I was just wondering if we'll start with Howie this time, like if you could share just something that you love about being a mom.
Oh, everything. No, I don't know. Everything has been just such an amazing experience. Like I had said before, it was like, well, it's like she gave me the gift of being in the present moment. So it was like, I feel like since she's been born, I found more like peace and just it's all about like finding that balance. And I feel like she really did that for me. She helped balance my life out. And it's just some days can be hard and a little bit overwhelming, which is completely normal. But in the end, it's like when she's sleeping at night and you just like look at her and they're all calm and you're just watching them breathe. And it's just like the most amazing thing. Like, oh, I made that. But yeah, but like I said before, it's about I really feel like it is about balance and taking care of your little one, but also taking care of yourself and making sure that you're well and happy. So a happy you is a happy baby. So that's my advice. Kahara?
Beautiful. Yeah. Laura, please let us know, what do you love about being a mama?
Oh, I too love everything about being a mom. I think just really, I'm really grateful to the Holy One's creator that I have this sacred responsibility. And it really is like having a baby is a huge, huge responsibility. Like in the present, like actually taking care of the baby, but also thinking about, oh my gosh, the responsibility of bringing a life into this world and being responsible for helping them, guiding them, you know, ultimately we just can guide them along their own path of wellness and positive existence. And so I think probably just the fact that, you know, Martin and I, we talk about the fact that our love created just like the ultimate love, and that is the embodiment of our son. And you could just feel it from his energy that, you know, he's just like literal ball of light and beaming joy. And I just love being able to nurture and have such intimate sacred space with such a precious little being, and being able to sing to someone nonstop is like my favorite thing too, because I had always dreamed about, you know, my family. It's something that I looked forward to being a child, like, oh, I can't wait till I can start a family and be a mom and have a little baby. It's just always been something that I wanted to aspired as being a mother and a nurturer. And so to be able to fulfill my little dreams now, and to also, like how he was talking about learning with your little one, I've been learning about my culture with my mom, and now we all 3 generations, my son was in my womb while I was in my mom's womb. So the 3 generations being able to learn about, who we are and being multicultural, there's so much knowledge and teachings that we get to learn from, because we're the embodiment of them. And so I think that's probably one of my favorite things about being a mom, is just that sacred responsibility. And that's also what grounds me too when times get tough, or I find myself in an exhaustion rut or feeling overwhelmed. That reminder, and then even just seeing my little one, just smile at me or looking at me with the most loving eyes as I feed him, like breastfeed him, or even just waking up in the morning. Sometimes when he's sleeping next to me, I'm just like, you're so cute and little, like his little feet and hands, it's just daily reminders of that is really special. So I love that. I love being a mom so much. It's a blessing. So I'm grateful that he chose us, and that all of our little babies chose us, with our little family that we have here with NWI, and it's really, really special.
For real. For the audience out there who is not as familiar with our organization NWI, like Kahara and Karennenhawi and I have all been a part of it. And then our friend Sierra and our friends Josh and Eva, all of us had babies during the pandemic. So all these little NWI
NWI babies.
so crazy.
Now we're doing baby workshops.
So that like NWI staff is like ready to go 20 years from now.
Yep.
It's really cool to see them all growing up in community together, and just like how we're all already bonded through this wellness work. And it's very exciting future for these little ones. I think, a lot of times we talk about it's a scary world and the future is bleak, but I think as Indigenous communities, like we have like a different perspective. Like we are able to see like the beauty in the future, and to really believe in our ability to heal. And I think that that's a really powerful thing. I'm really excited about that. And I guess that's the next task for all of us, is we are in this phase of parenting really little ones. And I'm so excited to just continue to learn more about like parenting as the years go on, and, the new challenges as they grow older. And it's certainly going to be a different experience. Like I've already learned so much now with our toddler, and it's just going to continue to be fun and challenging in different ways. And I'm open-minded. I'm ready to keep learning.
Yes.
But yeah, we're pretty much done here. So I just want to thank you ladies so much for joining me today. And thanks to NWI for having us.
Mm-hmm.
Been a really fun conversation. Maybe we can do it again. I feel like there's a lot more we could talk about.
Yes.
But yeah, any last words, or just want to say bye?
Yeah, no. Thank you for having us. It was so nice. And I just wanted to add, like what you were saying, like I'm super excited for all our babies to grow up with NWI and to have such like positive influences. And it's just it's so exciting in the future.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much for allowing me to share about my experience. And I'm really grateful to share this space with you, beautiful, powerful, amazing, empowering, gorgeous, fantastic ladies. So you guys are phenomenal. I just want to say.
So are you. All right, everyone. Thanks for having us. See you at the next Power Hour. Have a good day, everyone.
A good day.